Welcome to Knowledge Quest channel. Today I will explain the story of the power of one step. In a small village nestled among towering mountains, there lived a young girl named Mira. She was known for her intelligence and curiosity, but she had one challenge: her fear of taking risks. She often dreamed of achieving great things, but the thought of failure kept her from trying. She stayed in her comfort zone, waiting for the perfect moment that never seemed to come. One day, as Mira was walking by the edge of the village, she noticed an elderly woman sitting under a tree. The woman's clothes were old, and her face was lined with years of wisdom, but there was a calmness about her. Mira approached and asked, "What are you doing here, Grandma?" The elderly woman smiled gently. "I am waiting, dear." "Waiting for what?" Mira asked, puzzled. "Waiting for the first step." Mira frowned. "The first step for what?" The woman chuckled softly. "Everything begins with one step. Whether it's a journey, a dream, or a change in your life, it all starts with that first brave step." Mira sat down beside her, intrigued. "But what if I fail?" she asked, her voice full of uncertainty. The elderly woman looked at Mira with kind eyes. "Everyone is afraid of failure, child. But the real failure comes when you don't even try. When you're too afraid to take that first step. That step may be small, but it will lead you farther than you think." Mira thought about it for a moment. She had always dreamed of becoming an artist, but her fear of failure held her back. The village didn't have any formal art schools, and she didn't know anyone who could teach her. But deep down, she felt that art was her calling. That evening, Mira sat in her room, staring at her sketchpad. The blank pages seemed to mock her. "What if I can't do it?" she thought. But then, she remembered the woman's words, "It all starts with one step." With trembling hands, Mira picked up her pencil. She drew a simple line. A tiny, fragile step. But as she added more lines, something amazing happened. The drawing began to take shape. It wasn't perfect, but it was hers. She had taken the first step. Day by day, Mira practiced. She sketched whatever she could, from the beautiful mountains surrounding her village to the people she met. With each drawing, her confidence grew. She sought advice from travelers passing through the village, and though their feedback was sometimes harsh, it only pushed her to improve. Months passed, and Mira's skills sharpened. She became known for her unique style and her ability to capture emotions in her artwork. One day, a wealthy merchant came to the village, and he was so impressed by her work that he offered her an opportunity to showcase her art in the city. At first, Mira hesitated. The thought of leaving her village was terrifying. What if she failed? But she remembered the elderly woman's words, "Everything begins with one step." Taking a deep breath, she decided to go. The first step into the unknown. In the city, Mira's art was met with admiration, and she quickly gained recognition. She was invited to prestigious galleries and even offered a position to teach art. She had come so far from the shy girl who was afraid to take that first step. Years later, Mira returned to her village as a successful artist, known not just for her talent, but for her courage to begin. She went straight to the tree where she had met the elderly woman. Sitting beneath the tree, Mira whispered to herself, "It all started with one step." Just then, a young girl walked by and asked, "What are you doing here, Grandma?" Mira smiled warmly and replied, "I'm waiting. Waiting for the first step." And just like that, she passed on the wisdom, knowing that someone else, somewhere, would take their first step toward their dreams. The power of one step was a simple truth: no matter how big the dream, no matter how far the journey, everything begins with that first step. Sometimes, it's all you need to change your life forever.